Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Before I get started, if you haven't done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. My channel is still reasonably new and so it really helps me out if you can. Today I've got a really interesting car to take out for a spin. To the untrained eye, this might look like a fairly regular E46 3 Series coupe, but look a little closer and you'll see this is actually the relatively rare 330 Ci Clubsport model. Now, for me, while it's not a proper M car thoroughbred, it's the rarity of this model that makes it all the more interesting. Doing some research online, it appears that only around 600 of these were made, and it was a limited edition for the UK market only. To put that into perspective, there were over 85,000 E46 M3s produced, and get this, 1,383 examples of the ultimate E46, the M3 CSL. So this really is quite a rare car then. Outside of the rarity factor, it's not all that much different to a regular 330 Ci. The car sits 15mm lower than a standard 330, and according to BMW, it is also 20 kilograms lighter thanks to the removal of some sound deadening. Visually, you get the distinctive split rim alloys and a nice little boot lid mounted rear wing as well. Inside, there's also some rather nice Clubsport branded kick plates, and these cars featured a unique half-leather interior as standard, although this particular example has the full electric and heated grey leather option. This one also has a few other options, xenon lights and the Harman Kardon sound system. The car was offered in just 4 colours: titanium silver, carbon black and 2 BMW individual colours, velvet blue and estoril blue, which is the one you can see here. Anyway, enough of me talking, let's get the car out on the road and see how it drives. So you've had this quite a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've had this about 8 years, and it's my pride and joy. People always say that it's a bit of a garage queen.
You don't drive it a great deal.
I don't drive it, so but I do look after it.
It's really tidy.
Yeah. When I bought it, I wanted to ideally purchase an M3.
Yeah.
But couldn't afford one at the time.
I bet you wish you'd stretched it a bit now though, the prices that they're going for.
The price of them now, but
absolutely mental.
I couldn't get, I'm very fussy with cars and I couldn't get one of a standard that I would have been
You could have had like a pretty, like, you know,
a high miler,
kind of
life.
Ragged a bit M3 for what you paid for this back in the day.
Yeah, so I thought, well, I saw one of these and wasn't too sure what it was at the time, but did my research into them and then found what I deemed to be a really tidy example up in Scotland.
So bear in mind we're in Dorset on the south coast. That's quite a long way to go for a car.
Yeah, so a really nice guy called Anton that had it, and I spoke to him. He said that I wouldn't be disappointed if I made the effort to get a flight to from.
So you flew up for it?
Yeah, I went from Southampton to Glasgow, and then the guy met me at the airport, and we went for a drive, and obviously
the rest is history. Drove it all the way home on your own.
Yeah, and drove it back. So
I actually kind of copied you on that idea a few years later with that MR2 that I bought. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That didn't end up being a keeper, unfortunately, and that was a really long way to drive listening to BBC radio stations.
Yeah, definitely. So when I got there, I was happy with the car, and it was the guy worked on the oil rig, so he didn't really drive it either, so it stayed relatively low miles.
Yeah, so this is on 63,000 now, which is really low for one of these. This is nearly 20 years old, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think I got it on 48, I think.
Yeah.
So I haven't put many on it. As I say, I don't drive it very often, but when I do drive it, it always puts a smile on my face. And yeah.
So this Clubsport model, this sat in between the 330 Ci and the M3 at the time when it came out, didn't it?
Yeah. So I then wanted to find out a bit more about them, and there's a bit of a cult following for these. So started a forum called the BMW Clubsport Owners Club.
Is that on Facebook?
It's on Facebook, yeah.
Look it up, guys, if you're a Clubsport owner out there. Well, that's one of the interesting things to me about this car, really, is the rarity of it.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I did sort of look it up on the way over, and I'm not 100% sure how many were originally made. It seems to be some discrepancy whether it was 600 or 1600. If anyone out there knows the correct figure, let us know in the comments. But if you look on how many left, which again, you know, not always super accurate, it seems to be maybe around 470 of these sort of kicking about. So it's quite a rare car.
Yeah, so everyone's got their own opinion on how many are left, but they did these in Estoril blue, velvet blue, silver, and very rare is the Swartz black. So
I haven't seen the black one.
Yeah, so
I think this is this or velvet blue for me, because they're like the BMW individual colours.
They are.
I think that's what I would have gone for. It's lovely and smooth, isn't it?
For its age, 2003 car is very for a 2003 car it's very refined for the features it's got. So, for example, front and rear electric windows, heated seats, leather.
It's quite rare to have those little rear quarters open electrically.
Yeah, and Harman Kardon as well, which is the upgraded BMW radio system.
Yeah, you've got this nice sort of diamond pattern on the dash.
Carbon cube effect.
Carbon cube, that was the one.
So Clubsports, in theory, are a little bit lighter, a little bit
20 kilos of sound deadening, I looked up.
Yeah.
So not a huge amount, but every kilo helps, doesn't it?
Don't believe everything you read though, because there's a guy called Nick Jupp that is he's a breaker for these, and he says that it's the same as a normal one.
Okay.
So
BMW were making that up potentially.
No, I don't know about making it up.
Maybe it's like lighter sound deadening or something. Like, it looks the same, but it's made of special foam. I don't know.
Maybe. So
if we're sweating a bit, guys, it's really hot and the aircon needs gassing, so apologies for that. But yeah, in terms of rarity factor, even if it was 1600, I mean, to put it in comparison, they made like 85,000 E46 M3s.
Yeah.
And I think about 1400 M3 CSL. So this is a rare car. Like, yeah, it might not be a proper M car, but it's, in terms of like grade 6 BMW, it's interesting, and it's E46, arguably one of the prettier 3 Series.
Yeah, I prefer the styling to the newer ones.
I don't know have you seen the grille on the brand new one? Front end of that.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's quite beastly, isn't it?
It's a bit interesting. I don't know. Not sure what they were thinking. But
so this is the pre-facelift. And after this, mine's a 2003, but after this they went to the facelift model, which, from my understanding, it had 6-speed gearboxes. It's only got 5. Mine is a manual.
Yeah.
A lot of them are auto, and some of them had a very strange gearbox.
Manual's definitely the way to go. Some of them you can get with the SMG gearbox, right?
Yeah, and the SMG gearboxes, in my opinion, people swap them out.
Yeah, so I read about a guy online earlier, and he was talking about doing a manual swap of his.
Yeah.
I think the SMGs were obviously, they were okay by 2003 standards when people were just going on to. Am I right in saying they weren't even paddles? They were like buttons on the steering wheel or something?
I think they were. I think they were paddles on the back, but
I've not driven an SMG one. I think they're quite clunky and outdated by today's standards.
Yeah.
Manual's definitely the way to go. This feels like quite a, it's nearly 20 years old. It feels like quite an analog kind of, it's just you and the car. We haven't got any fancy screens in here. There's no driving modes. You just turn it on and you go. You've got your 3 pedals. You get your manual gearbox. The steering's got a nice sort of weight to it.
Yeah,
feels good. It's lovely and smooth. That engine. I am a fan of that BMW straight 6. I know it's not really quick by today's standards, but it pulls quite well. It more than keeps up with modern traffic. Maybe not some of these.
As I say, I don't really drive fast, so I'm known as sort of Miss Daisy in our
think of it
Some
more.
Some of the other guys have got absolute missiles. They play with them, and they're pushing some serious horsepower.
The engine's seriously responsive though. Just a little blip of the throttle.
Yeah.
And it just wants to rev.
Yeah.
just on the downshifts, it's really nice. You think of this as more of a kind of grand tourer almost coupe than a sports car. There's second. Pulled smoothly up to the red line. Didn't speed limit in no time.
Yeah.
231 horsepower these, aren't they? I think from the factory.
Yeah.
Don't know, might have lost a few over the years.
Might have lost a few, but as I say, I didn't buy it for speed. I just bought it because it was a nice, clean example of these cars. So
yeah, you certainly did. You certainly did well. It's lovely and tidy. The interior is still a really good nick as well.
Yeah.
And there's, on the outside, there's barely a mark. I think you told me you had the wheels refurbed.
Yeah.
At some
So
point.
when I got it,
diamond cut originally, aren't they?
yeah, when I got it, I decided to get the wheels redone, and had a slight silver flick to them, so that they are, as you say, diamond cut and polished from factory. Mine are now powder coated.
Yeah.
Just because they had a bit of corrosion on them when I got it. I've got good tyres all the way around. Painted the calipers just for aesthetics, and changed the lights in the front to they had Xenons as factory, which again for a 2003 car, Xenons was quite high spec, but I put a higher Kelvin,
Well, like 6,000k.
6,000k, which is what the modern cars have. These only have 4,300 as standard, and then changed the fog lights as well because they were H1s, but I've put some brighter ones in. So yeah.
So just mainly aesthetics.
Just
stuff,
aesthetics
really.
for me, but
Tidying it up.
that's not to say that other people, when they change their cars and modify them, each to their own. So
I think for me personally, I would do the same as you on this car, particularly given its rarity. It's getting on for a classic now, classic BMW, and it's nice to see it original.
Yeah. The other thing is the front spats. They have Clubsport splitters on each side, one on each side.
I saw that they're carbon. Was that standard?
No, I've just wrapped them.
You've wrapped them,
but,
okay.
But yeah, they're
But the
black,
actual splitters are
they're black. They're black as normal, but the actual splitters are from BMW. And if you want genuine ones, they are really expensive from BMW. Although you can get some copies off of like eBay and Amazon and places like that.
It's a nice all-round package, I think. Just give it a little pull along here. She does go well. It just feels lovely and smooth, really. It just keeps pulling. It, like I said, it's not. You haven't got that kind of low down shove of a modern turbo car, but there's something nice about that. Just like revving out all the way to the red light. Tell you what, the ride's really comfortable.
Yeah.
It is, and the seats are still good.
Yeah.
I feel like you could eat up quite a lot of miles on this, like driving back from Glasgow, for example.
Yeah, definitely.
Get the old cruise control on.
Yeah.
Comfy. It's probably we've probably done more miles tonight, or we will have done more miles tonight than you did in 2020. Looking at your MOT history.
Yeah.
I mean, it was COVID that year as well, to be fair.
Well, you've always looked after your cars as well, so just getting into some country lanes now.
Getting a bit dark, isn't it? It's July. Should still be. It's not been as sunny today, though.
Still a bit warm though.
Yeah. Oh, it's still really warm. Lucky.
Come here often? Not to Hull, really.
See, it looks to me, I guess not by modern standards, but it kind of looks fairly big from the outside, but when you're sort of like
still quite nimble.
giving it some beats, it feels nimble, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly stays where you put it when you go into a corner.
Have you had many problems with it since you've owned it?
No, as I say, I don't really do many miles, so it hasn't been a workhorse. It's as I said, it's like a garage queen sort of thing. But
you've done about coming up 15,000 in it, in 8 years.
Yeah, so I had the just little things for MOTs and things like that.
Yeah.
BMWs are quite a heavy car, so little steering brushes and things like that.
Tell you what, this is obviously of BMWs of the era, something you don't see now. It's a manual MPG gauge with an actual dial. It's quite old school, but in a kind of cool way.
Manual MPG, yeah.
Yeah, you remember what your car's got, right?
Yeah.
Let's give it some beats a bit. Feels like a quick car. Even by today's standards, it's still 0 to 60. I think these do about 6.5 out of the box.
Yeah, I like the.
Feels like that.
I like it from say 40 to 60, 40 to 70. It feels like it picks up nice. So.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. I've shown you around this rather rare BMW, and I've taken you for a drive to show you what it's like to be behind the wheel. So, would I get one of these over an M3? Well, no. And I don't really think that's something anyone who's looking for an M3 would do. However, I do think this is a really cool car. I love the rare factor, and I think nice Clubsport examples are always going to be more desirable than a standard car. If your budget doesn't quite stretch to an M3, and let's face it, they're getting pretty expensive, then a Clubsport could fit the bill quite nicely as something a bit different and unique. Anyway, thanks again for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon with another video.